Saloon car race. The commentators Brian Chute and Alan Tyndall.
You're looking at the second warm-up for the Marshall Tyres large production saloon car race. The race that was stopped earlier on due to a serious accident. This is a complete rerun. Reg Tuthill will be on pole. De Moulin is a non-starter. O'Riordan's there, John Wood's a non-starter, Hayes is there, Aston's there, McGovern's there, Mike Armstrong, car badly damaged out, Kellett is in, Norman Williams is in, Dixon, I'm just doubtful, Faulkner and Mooney. And really, that was quite an incident. Here they come on their warm-up lap for production saloons. And this is the prelude to disaster. As they went off the line the first time, down into Shell, all was neat and tidy. But just watch the man there in third position, David de Moulin, in the yellow RS 2000. O'Riordan leads, Tuthill second. Now de Moulin is getting out of shape, and this is where it all begins to go wrong. The yellow Escort about to spin back into the pack, and the gold Toyota on the inside is to be the first casualty. As the O'Riordan sees the drama happening, he goes left, but John Wood does not see it until now, puts on the brakes. It's far too late, into the side of de Moulin. De Moulin car goes right up in the air. Armstrong is trapped, he goes into the back of Wood. Kellett goes right, he's okay, but there's George Dixon now coming into the accident and going into the back of Armstrong's car, as is Maurice Mitten. Meanwhile, the drama is also happening on the left as de Moulin's car careers out of control off onto the grass. Number 9 there, Thomas McGovern, a novice in his 3-litre Capri, heading towards the barrier at the moment, turns it round, gets it very sideways, and in turn he is about to be clipped by Larry Mooney in the Golf GTI, just out of picture at the moment, but I'm afraid a very, very expensive accident indeed, and after 2 laps the race had to be stopped, and the whole thing is about to be rerun with quite a number of gaps on the grid. Brian Chute.
And the pole position man is still there, Reg Tuthill in the Dolomite Sprint. That's it on the left-hand side of your picture. That's Tuthill's Dolly, as they call it, Dolomite Sprint, Tuthill's of Crumlin, and he got away. He wasn't near that accident. It all happened behind him. Second place on the grid is Gerry O'Riordan, car number 4, ex-Derek Shortall Capri, improving with every day. Third place on the grid, number 6, John Hayes, in the blue Capri 3-litre. So you got a 2-litre on pole position, followed by 2 3-litres.
And that a car, of course, Brian Chute's old car, so now it's sponsored by the 19th Precinct. John Hayes and Gerry O'Riordan, and really now that the conditions are completely dry, the big 3-litre Capris must have a big Dermot Faulkner, I should say Peter Faulkner, pulling off the grid. That's a great shame, because I know his father Dermot is watching this in hospital, and we wish him well, so that'll be a big disappointment for Peter Faulkner. They're about to go. And away they go, Tuthill on your left, the 3-litre Capri of Gerry O'Riordan. Look out for John Hayes. Gerry O'Riordan now dragging the 2-litre Dolomite, and John Hayes just going to get in, is he? Bo Tuthill elbows his way in there, and look for Norman Aston with that other Capri coming up very fast alongside Hayes. But at the moment, it's O'Riordan, Tuthill. Then we have John Hayes, Norman Aston, and then I think number 9, Thomas McGovern.
It's a very good start from Gerry O'Riordan. Really got the power down, out-dragged Tuthill off the line. Little dab on the brakes there. Tuthill very quick through this corner. Number 4 there, Gerry O'Riordan leading his race. John Hayes very lucky to be there in third place. He left a little gap for Norman Aston, a very experienced pilot, to get in the inside. So at the moment, Tuthill still crawling all over O'Riordan, giving Hayes and Aston a chance to catch up. So that's your first 4, O'Riordan, Tuthill, Hayes and Aston.
And then it's McGovern, and then Norman Williams, number 22, in the yellow Capri, just coming through there. And Maurice Mitten, who obviously got the damage repaired on his car, very much a danger man, just coming up the inside and getting terribly sideways, trying to get Norman Aston down the inside. There is Larry Mooney just going through in the Golf GTI, but O'Riordan leads, Tuthill in second place, and we wonder how long can the 2-litre Dolomite hold off that very powerful Capri of John Hayes, who gets into all kinds of shapes, going down into Shell and maintains his position.
John at the moment actually trying to push poor Reg Tuthill into a mistake there, but he better watch his tail, because Norman Aston, if he leaves a gap on the inside there, Alan, Norman Aston, the best man. Now, John is a brave move around the outside, and he's got it. I'm sure John Hayes has got into second base. He did. Now, that was a brave manoeuvre. Coming into that double apex, he kept on the power and drove around the outside of Reg Tuthill. So now we have the 2-3 leaders in first and second. Gerry O'Riordan there in first place, with John Hayes really with the bit between his teeth.
Well, I've only seen that manoeuvre done about twice before, and one of those times was by Ayrton Senna, so he's in good company with that manoeuvre, John Hayes. John Hayes then up into second place, and after O'Riordan. So the 2 3-litre Capris, very powerful machines. Tuthill still, of course, leading his class, and now he's in trouble because Norman Aston, and look at Mitten picking them off as he goes round. Very impressive performance there by Thomas McGovern, number 9 in that Capri, just alongside Mitten. You can see them in the very background at the moment. Mitten on the inside, Thomas McGovern, a newcomer in his first season of racing, on the outside. No doubt about the leader, though. It's Gerry O'Riordan.
Yes, Gerry driving very well and under no pressure at the moment. John Hayes using all the road. He's got to get away from the dolly of Reg Tuthill to make an attack on Gerry O'Riordan.
Norman Aston, I would have thought, coming up much quicker than he is at the moment. He doesn't seem to be making any impression on Tuthill, but this is the second place man, John Hayes, who has possibly over 25 years competition experience behind him. Just recently into production saloons, throws this 3-litre round with gay abandon, not a bit afraid of it, particularly in the wet, particularly impressive. And there they are, and already we see Peter Faulkner, who has obviously been allowed to start from the pit lane. Peter Faulkner, who is about to be lapped by the leaders. There's Norman Williams, I should say, first time out in this car. It's got the ex-Reg Tuthill engine in it, and Maurice Mitten now trying to get on terms with him. But the leading 4, just the same. Norman Williams now up into 5th place.
Yes, unfortunately, Maurice Mitten caught out again with the weather this morning, opted for slick tyres, and when the drizzle came, he has to start off the back of the grid because all the rest of the lads had quickly changed onto their wets and put in the good times. So Gerry O'Riordan leading this race, very, very good. Number 4, crown paints all the way, easy on the brakes there, and then out power all the way down, up the hill towards Esser. John, at the moment, John Hayes not making all that much ground. 2 cars relatively the same, both with the 3-litre engines, both with the slick tyres, shocks old, and Tuthill really leaving his brake in there late, trying to catch on to John Hayes.
There's Reg Tuthill, Tuthill's newsagents sponsorship, and Peter Faulkner going to have quite a gaggle of stuff on his tail very shortly now. Tuthill beginning to challenge a little bit, I think, on John Hayes. Norman Williams there, and Maurice Mitten, and then this new man, Thomas McGovern, number 9, with the 8 to 12 sponsorship. O'Riordan, in his second season of production saloons, ex-stock car man, really coming good, got quicker and quicker as the races have gone by, and now fully in command of this 3-litre Capri, the second of these 2 cars in picture. And it shows how quickly Peter Faulkner is going, because although he's almost a lap down, he's really, it's taking a while for the leading men to catch him.
Yes, Peter, very good at the test trials, what's known as handbrake pullers. They do these tests where they drive in and out of pylons. There's a little bit of rallying, but usually towards the end of the season he comes out here at Mondello and for the big meeting at the Phoenix Park next weekend. Unfortunately, he was taken off the grid with what looked like a loose fire extinguisher. They got it all strapped in and they let him start from the pit road. Now, Peter, you saw him pull over the left there and let Gerry O'Riordan, let the battle for the lead go through. Now, in fact, Gerry has been caught very, very slowly now. In fact, he's been caught very much at the moment. Coming up the hill there, I thought that he was just taking it easy. Maybe Peter Faulkner's presence unsettled him a bit, Alan.
John Hayes pulling out rather widely to avoid Peter Faulkner as he goes through in second place. Reg Tuthill's going to be caught out a little bit here because Faulkner's going to hold him up. Tuthill very sideways. Tuthill has the inside line now through Boak, and Peter Faulkner letting through Norman Aston. So the first 4 relatively undisturbed by that back marker, as once again John Hayes really getting down to it now. And I think we're going to see quite a battle between these 2 Capris. Hayes has certainly got the fire in his right foot at the moment.
yes, John leaving his braking very late there, going into Duckham's to rattle Gerry O'Riordan. But Gerry's been around a bit now. He's got used to this Capri. He doesn't have to do any heroics there. They're hanging the wheel there, working away at the wheel in the cockpit. Oh, hangs over to the right for Castrol. Now, this is where John could make a move for up the inside. But Gerry's been around long enough, all the way going for the inside there. He'll make that a very narrow gap for John Hayes. It's one thing catching, but it's harder to pass.
So they will be shortly coming down to complete 6 laps of this 10-lap Marshall Tyres production saloon car race. Large production saloons running in 2 classes, running in 3 classes actually, up to 1600cc, up to 2 litre and then over 2 litre. And these first two cars, of course, in the over 2 litre class. Reg Tuthill leading his class at the moment and in 3rd place overall. The Dolomite Sprint, which had unreliability problems when he first started to race that car, going extremely well today. But look at Hayes on the grass, and he nearly lost it there. That was dangerous.
Yes, it's not. It's all right going to buy a Dolomite, which is a much narrower car, but to get your wheels on the grass going in there, I don't think you'll get around. With 2 cars so equal, to out-drag Gerry down into that part of the circuit would be a brave manoeuvre. Although we did see one year somebody got around the outside, I think it was Derek Shortall, and drove all the way around at a much slower pace, I would say. But this is really going. Hayes has really got the bit behind it. The 2 of them are beginning to hang the tails. Now close the gap there, Gerry. John, have a look up the inside, locking up the brakes, a little nudging Matchmay, yeah, little touch there, but nothing heavy. But this is giving the chance to Tuthill to climb all over the back of John Hayes, Alan.
Well, 7 laps completed as they come down here, and the pit crew's really egging these boys on. Norman Aston not there in 4th place, not able to get in touch, but John Hayes, who an ex-rally man, really showing that he's not a bit afraid to check around that motor car. It's possibly not the quickest way to get in a very fast lap in production saloons, but it's certainly entertaining to watch. So John Hayes, and right out over the grass. 2 wheels right off the circuit there. Hayes really hairy, and Tuthill must be getting his heart in his mouth watching these antics.
John now thinks he can get to grips with Gerry O'Riordan, but unfortunately, at the moment, by driving so wildly, he's just letting Reg Tuthill eat away at his lead, and if he gets the nose down the inside, Reg, he's a hard man, he won't back off, and this is what it's all about in production saloons. John getting very sideways there. In fact, Reg climbing all over and had to back off. John driving a little too sideways. If he drives like this, he'll let Gerry O'Riordan away. He's got to drive nice, cool, calm, collected. Look at Tuthill having a look at the inside. Very, very close there. But all this time, it'll give Gerry O'Riordan, our leader, a chance to relax and pull that car length he needs to relax.
Gerry O'Riordan then being shown 2 laps to go. 2 laps of dynamite, it looks like. John Hayes not just quite so close this time. If O'Riordan can steady down and just get those fast laps in now, he's home to a very good win. But look at Norman Aston there in 4th place. He's now beginning to put on the attack. He's suddenly wakened up. So Aston, the Northern Ireland saloon car champion there, beginning to now think there must be ways past this Dolomite as it bounces on its bump stops down into Duckham's.
Gerry driving very, very well, still braking the same place. John Hayes beginning to catch ever so slowly. He hasn't got far to go to do it. Gerry, who runs a do-it-yourself shop in Tala, looks after this car, has built it all over the winter, and it's in very good shape. He's had the engine done. John has had the engine done, so as I say, the 2 cars should be almost equal. It's down to the driver. John settling down a bit, a little bit untidy there, losing a little bit of time. He's got to be right on Gerry's bumper if he wants to make a move on the inside here.
So there we're looking at Norman Williams in the background, still being harried by Maurice Mitten, but they're now coming down to complete their 9th lap and go on to their last lap. And this is just where Gerry O'Riordan's got that nice little advantage. John Hayes trying desperately late on the brakes, and I would imagine at this stage of the race there wouldn't be too many brakes left in a Capri. They're a big, heavy machine to bundle around Mondello.
Yes, usually from the 8th lap on, you have to pump. Steve Griffin there, that's actually Maurice Mitten being pushed. He had a spin up there at Dunlop, but on his way again. Maurice, unfortunately, had to start from the back of the grid. There's our leader. As I said, we may see the little dabs of the brake lights. After about 8 laps at Mondello, the paths have worn down on these Capris, and the habit for the drivers is to pump with your left foot in between the corners to get your pedal back up. You don't really pump to brake, just pump to bring the pressure up. Now look at Hayes. Hayes is making the effort down here at Esso. Aston has lost ground that time to Reg Tuthill. Reg really crawling away from him. but this is a long hang. Now, John would want to be a lot closer. Very good, Gerry, in the centre of the road, but blocking the wheel there. John Hayes not close enough to make that manoeuvre up the inside.
And they're coming down the hill from Dunlop for the last time. The checkered flag is there for it, and this is Gerry O'Riordan's coming of age in Production Saloons. An excellent victory from the front row to the checkered flag, and standing away from all that pressure from John Hayes. Hayes, who must be, I would imagine, a pretty tired man the way he's been throwing around that motor car. Reg Tuthill wins the 2-litre class. Norman Aston is 4th overall, and we're just looking out to see who's going to be the 1600 winner. It should be Larry Mooney. So that's our race winner, Gerry O'Riordan from Tala. An excellent first major victory for him, and if he can continue to drive like that, I think we should see a few more.
Good stuff from Mondello Park.
Before that, let me tell you, we have our sports special for you tonight.